Who wants to make this? Come and join me. Hello, Blue Marinos. It's Keleas. Are you ready to make this Christmas tree? I am. Let's get in here and let's get started. I've got some beautiful pine that's wispy. I love that. Then because of this having a bit of a rustic feel with the red and the snowflakes and then the tin, but then we've got the cute little glitter snow on the edge, it's perfect to bring in a pick like this where we've got the berries that are made of the wood, and that kind of brings in the metal and the wood. You feel the texture? Yeah, you feel the texture. That really matters. And then this will help bring in the pretty snowflake color also to the base, and we've got some white pine cones, because when we have this big contrast of white, we need to pop the white, but we also need the red up here pulled in from the star. So that's kind of a no-brainer on our picks and sprays that come in here. And then we pulled a ribbon, and we're not going to need a whole lot of ribbon. We're going to use a nice little section of it here. But you see here, this ribbon is perfect. We have the red, we have the green, we have the white. And the reason this works so well in this project is it's burlap. And so it has this neat texture, and it gives it that rustic feel. The first thing we have to do is prep our base. And I have already put a little glue on his wing nut here. We're going to use some Gorilla. When you put the tree together, he has a little wing nut on the bottom. And if you'll just pop in a little Gorilla Glue, it's going to make him more permanent and set up ready to go. Now, if you want to make it for yourself where you can, store it separately, then don't do that. Have it wherever you can screw in the tree. So it might be easier to go in storage. Now, I'm making my pieces to sell. So customers generally want it come ready to put out. They don't want any instructions. They want to just take it out of that box, unwrap it, and be like, ta-da! So I try to keep it really simple in something like this, okay? And I'm going to keep it in one piece glued together. You're going to need a little bit of floral foam, and if you've never used floral foam before, it's the kind of the foamy, it's a harder foam, it's not sandy, and we use it. It doesn't work with real flowers. It's not going to hold water like an Oasis foam. It's more dense. And we're going to use it to put all our florals in at the bottom. Now the idea is you want this small enough where it doesn't show, but not too little, because then it becomes brittle. So nice little chunky. This is kind of a 2x3 chunk, to give you an idea. And you can see when I put those on the base, they'll be perfect right there at the bottom. Now whatever we're attaching to metal, I'm going to clean the metal if you can't. With alcohol would be better than my hand. With alcohol wipe. But I'm also going to use some Gorilla Glue. We're going to put a little of that down. And then I always put hot glue first, mixed with it. And between the two, I usually get a really nice, stable base. So I'm going to pop that on there. And then I'm going to get my electric skillet over here with glue in it. All right, so I'm just going to dip these puppies in. And we're going to find a nice flat surface here. And we're going to put one on each side and just let them going. So in design school, they're very familiar with this procedure. I mean, it's a very typical of how I would start off a project. I'm just always sharing all the tips and tricks that I've learned in my, this is 27 years of creating and having my own business. So I'm always wanting to make it easier for you, okay? Whether you want to make for yourself or you want to sell, just making it super easy for you, like having the supplies available, having a clickable supply list so you can just come in and learn right along with us. One of the first steps in my projects is I'm going to green out a base, okay? And that doesn't really change in Christmas time or holiday seasons. I am using this very long pine. Now, there's all kind of rules of design that I teach in design school, and I have my own techniques and tricks that I use as well. But basically, we want to put the greenery in to create the perimeter. And that's what I call it, creating the perimeter. So I'm going to start by breaking this big pick down. Now this is very typical. You're going to take something large and cut it and break it down. I'm doing that right now. Okay, I'm going to break it into two sections to kind of start. And then we'll start to break it down even more from there. But I think sometimes it's easier to work with and kind of look at my shape. So I generally would take my piece and put it up to there and be like, okay, that looks like a good distance. So if I wanted to go up that high, how much stem do I have to leave? I hate picking machines and I don't use them. Nothing personal, picking machine company, but I don't like them. So I'm always, before I make too many cuts, I'm looking at my distance that I need. Okay, I'm weird. I've been doing this so long, I've got a lot of weird things. but I've also sold wreaths for a living. So I didn't just teach classes. I didn't just sell supplies. I actually sold wreaths for a living. So some of my tips and tricks are just because I've sold lots of them. And I had to learn how to do it quickly, and how to teach my employees how to make them fast and be able to turn over things fast. So that's why you see here, we're going to do a little measuring before we cut. Okay, so I've got one nice longer piece to come out on the left. All right, so I'm going to put these over to the side, and let's get us one longer piece to go over to the right. So I think I'm going to use these two here, so we get the same kind of distance. That might be a little bit longer, but I'm going to trim this one here. And then I'm going to just rotate these. So every design has a transition point, and that's something else I teach in design school. So you have to learn, where is a transition going to occur, and how am I going to angle those pieces out? So whenever you're doing your own project, think about that too. How am I going to have these pieces angling out? So I'm going to start here with my longest pieces to go in to set that perimeter. We're going to go into that foam. We've given it a little time to set up. I'm going to come right in, and we're going to push those in. Let me scoot this little pot over a little bit and make sure she's in there good. Number one's in. Now I'm going to go on the other side and do the same thing. Okay, give it a little glue. Watch those needles. We don't want to get burned with that glue on them. All right, let's bring this in. There we go. So we got a great start. Now, depending where you're going to put your tree will depend, how much you want to save for the back. I'm going to use mine just flat against a wall and make it for a flat type of design where I don't have to have a lot going in the back. So we're going to work all towards the front. So the next thing we want to do is kind of pop in these pine. We're going to take this pine and kind of cut it down a little. I'm going to cut this into two pieces here. So I get two nice picks from one. You can even do three if you want. It's amazing what you can cut them down. A lot of people don't realize you can come in the middle, you can cut down some long needle pine and make it into a couple of sections, and it still looks super cute. So we're going to do that with all of these real quick. Cut them into 2 or 3 sections because we want to fill this in really nicely. All right, let's do 3 out of this one. Okay, and then we're going to start to kind of fill in a little bit around the edges here. All right, let's bring it in. Push it in right there. There's one kind of coming low. And when you cut them, you might lose a couple needles, and no big deal. Just kind of pull them off to the side. All right, let's bring this one in here. Pretty. Let's go over here on the left. So we're getting some nice coverage. Bring this in. And let's go over on the other side over here with this one. So we get this nice wispy pine. And I love long needle pine. That's really nice quality, like this one, because then you get this pretty wispy look. And even, I feel like we could probably, this comes out pretty far. We could probably cut and steal a little from these, just get a little fullness down below. Just take a little out, like grab a little bit of it, and you'll never even see it gone. Perfect. Okay. Yep. That looks great. I'm going to use these little wispy pieces on the end too. So you can do the pattern you want. We're just working from the center, working out, really watching our transition so we have that clean look. That's something I preach in design school every week. Keleas Blue Merinos are like, okay, Keleas, we get ya. We get ya. We think we got this. Okay. Now I'm going to put these to the side. We're going to use these to fill in as we keep going in this process. And we're ready to move on to the next step. Before we put any of this in, I want to go ahead and get my bow front and center so that I use my space really wisely in the design. So we're going to make that next. Now this bow is just going to be a freehand bow where we're going to take our ribbon and work with it really simply. I need probably about a 14-inch tail would work fine because I don't need it coming off the base too much. So I'm just going to take that and twist, and I'm going to build my bow up from the back. These are about 5-inch loops. Take it up to your piece. Decide if you want them bigger. I'm good with starting maybe 5.5 would work. Come in. We're going to twist it in the center, and we're going to keep building up. There's a loop on either side. If you want a really simple bow, you can stop there. We're going to go a little bit more. We've got a loop and a loop, and twist it. Come on over, So this is 4 loops so far. If we wanted to stick with that, that's how 4 loops would look. That looks pretty cute. Let's go one more. Let's go one more loop on either side, like a little short one in the middle. That'd be cuter. A little baby one. You're so cute. And twist it. Just keep piling those loops up. You can get the bow maker out. You can make this a whole lot fancier, but I'm just making it really cute and simple. So everybody can do this without having any special equipment. Going to have a little bit of floral foam. Okay, you can use a wire. I'm going to use a cable tie, whatever's easiest. I'm going to come down the middle, get some pressure here, and then we're going to fluff this dude up once we have a little pressure to get everybody where we want them going. See how cute and whimsical? I love it. Make sure your twists are tight. If you didn't get them quite tight enough, you don't have it too tight, you can fix that. And there it is, a super simple, cute bow. I'm going to take and make a little, add a little floral pin to the back, or you can make one out of a piece of wire. This wire might be a little heavy, so I'm just going to use a regular floral pin. They're like little U pins like this, and they work great to hold moss. We use them to go in the back of our bow right here, because we're going to pin this bow in to the base. Okay, you could also have taken and used a wire and wired it to the tree base. You don't have to have anything too special. I mean, I want you to make this project without stressing about having all the right tools when you first start. Don't worry, just work with what you got. And this one has that little green center, and you know what? That's fine for this design. It matches, it looks fine. It's going to go right in the middle. We're just going to let it go and show, okay? I'm going to come in the back, and now I'm going to add some glue to the back of my floral pin. And one of the reasons we're putting this in first is so we can get into that foam and mount in right here. And I'm going to kind of tuck that around the side. Now you see how cute it is? Isn't that adorable? Now let's take these tails and do something fun with them. I'm just going to dovetail them pretty cute. Kind of let them poke out here. Just make that little V cut. Just fold it in half and just cut up towards the end of the ribbon. And you cut on the fold. So that way you always get that little V, all right? Let those fly out. You can curl them up too and just have so much fun with the curls. So once that bow is in, we can kind of know where it's going to go. And the whole point of putting that first was so we can put our florals around the edges. So we're going to use this fun piece. And this one we're going to do a little bit differently than normal. Instead of cutting it out in sections, I'm literally going to pull this one down. Like every little wire is going to be separate. Because we want to kind of spread it around our design here. I love these snowflakes. And this is one reason I picked them out, because they're glittery, but they have a rustic look too, which goes so good with this tree here. All right, when we get down to this last pine cone, I will take and trim it off because it's a little thicker wire, and throw it down. Don't throw it down. So whenever you trim a bush like that, or you trim it down, you've got to get the tips of the stems neat, because if you don't, you just have glue everywhere and a hot mess. It's a great way to get burned. Usually when you get burned, it's because you're being lazy. Ask me how I know. Because sometimes you're tired and you're like, I don't want to cut that paper off. I don't want to cut that paper. But you do. You have to trim that off and get it neat and clean, okay? So I got my little trash pile sitting over here to the side. I've trimmed all that off, and now, you know, if you need to pull off some paper, pull off some paper. But we broke that down into little sections. And then we're going to divide that up into the pieces that we have. Let me move my berries to the side, but we've got some little branches. We've got some cute pine cones. We have 3 pine cones, and we have 2 little sections of the snowflakes. And the reason we want to break everything down is so that we can set it up equally on our design, and we can use the design principles that I teach in design school. You can use them when you're putting this together. So we're going to come out to the right over here, and we're going to put our first piece. It's a little of the pine cone. Oh, that looks great over here. Pulls in that creamy look. It's got a little glitter. I love it. Now I'm going to come over here on the left with the other side. Bring this in. I just hold my base as I'm putting everybody in. We're going to kind of, how about we have this one kind of come down? I'm big on not things being all matchy. It's okay if they're a little bit different. What's most important is that you get the shape right when you put them in. And that's something I teach in class to help you learn, you know, where every piece is going But they don't have to be identically matching just because we have it in the center. Now we've got our little white twigs. I'm going to hold on to these for a second with our other greenery. We're going to come back to that in a minute. But I do want to get my snowflakes in. And I'm just going to take my little snowflakes and we're going to kind of go between the bow here and let them kind of come out and break the plane of that bow. You know how much I love that. Let's have another one on this side. That's super cute. We could totally leave this like this, but I wanted to bring in that touch of the green and the red that's on that star. So we have that in the ribbon, not super cute, but we're going to bring in this country berry to do the same thing. So on this one, we're going to take it and we're going to cut it instead of just tear it down. At least to start, we're going to cut a couple of longer pieces. So I'm going to start by cutting it right here to kind of have a longer section going on, and then cut it right here. Okay, so I'm going to have two pieces that are a little bit longer. This one we probably will break into separate sections. I'm just going to put it aside for a second. And I want these berries to kind of branch out into the pie. I get really excited about things, we call it breaking the plane of other things, and I don't like things stuffed in. I want them to overlap, and there's a lot of consideration put in when we're like overlaying it. So I'm going to bring it in, we're going to go right here. So think about when you're building your own designs, like think about how am I layering things in rather than just shoving more in. Sometimes less is more with the proper placement. That's why I like to teach you that in design school, and we've been really focusing on that so that we could try to make pieces that are a little less expensive but still look like our customers need to pay us a lot for them. We want to attract the right customer. I'm a big believer in that, and when you do that, it really helps make it easier to do this as a business. See, this looks so pretty, and they're not exactly identical. A little higher, a little lower. You want to close up? Look at that. Isn't that cute in there? I love that. So now we're going to come in and we're going to take our last couple of berries, and I'm going to just tear these down so they're going to be a little bit shorter. This one could be a little bit longer if you wanted it longer. I'm going to use these kind of towards the base, so we're just going to tear them and then trim them. And this is what I'm talking about, trimming them, get that nasty part off. Yeah, and let's put these in at the base. If you've never done wreath making or crafting as a stress reliever, I would encourage you to give it a try. You know, buy a kit from a creator, and you don't have to go out and invest in a ton of supplies when you get a kit. You can just start with something and see if it's a hobby you like. And then if you start to like it, then you can branch out and do more and experiment with more things. But just try wreath making or floral arranging. It is a fantastic stress reliever, and it is a great hobby. You know, when you want to pick up something new and try something new and something fun that you've never done before. And we're here to support you in your journey. I'm a big believer in crafting for relaxation as well. Okay, we've got our pine that's left. Now, I talked about breaking the plane earlier, and that's what we're going to come in and do now. We're going to bring that greenery from the background to the foreground, and we're going to let that really shine here. We're going to let it shine. Okay, so I cut these out into some more baby pieces, and we're going to tuck these in. But this is looking super. I love it. And I hope you feel like this is something you could try without a whole lot of special anything. You can use a glue gun, guys. You can even just push this all in and not glue it. It would stay, it would be fine. It just wouldn't be permanent. It would wiggle loose, you know, the next year. But if you want to just try it out, you don't need anything except for that foam is the only thing you're going to have to go buy. And you are going to kind of have to glue the foam down because otherwise it wouldn't stay. But you can use your glue gun. All right, I'm going to keep popping this in. I like to add stuff in that bow because that bow needs to be popping. When I start singing, that means I'm excited. Don't knock it till you try it, people. Don't knock it till you try it. And if you're here to troll me, go ahead. Coming on the other side. This is so cute. See, breaking the plane of that bow a little, coming in there, letting it overlap a bit. I love that. Let's go in this way. Oh, popping it in, yes. That one all of a sudden just popped in. Talk about popping and locking. Let me go one more here to the right. And then the only thing left are little white twigs. So let's get those out next. I'm going to pop this one in. Just want to hear it crunch into that foam. I'm just going to hold on to it. There it goes. Perfect. So cute. I love these snowflakes just coming out of the bow. They're so adorable. All right, and the last piece we've got is the twigs. We filled in with the greenery. Now we got our little white twigs left. And let's put these in here. I love twigs. You can do a number of things. You can take and curl them, and I use my finger or a glue stick. You can kind of let them kind of curl out, and that's super cute. Let's put a couple of those in. I'm going to just come down here with the greenery, kind of work wherever there's no white already. And you might just curl the tip, you know, just let it kind of be like, hey, I'm out here at the party. Come on in here. Yeah, let's top. Oh, that looks good. Let's bring some more to the bottom. You got to find the right end. Here it is. Like what they look, we cleaned them up so good. I couldn't tell which the top or the bottom. I'm gonna come down here where this pine is. Pop this one in. And hear it crunch or redo it. If you crunch it into that foam with the glue, it'll stay. Okay, that's why I'm a big deal about hear the crunch. Hear the crunch. Okay, cute. I'm gonna come over here. All right, and then our last one, I'm gonna have this one kind of curve out and curl just a little bit, like boop, like it's just starting to curl. See how cute that is with those pops of white? I'm gonna let this one come over here. I'm actually just gonna glue that one to that pine so it will be up high. Look how precious. Such a fun project that you can do with your family or just kind of hide in your craft room and make it for yourself. Pop this in your Christmas decorations, slide it in. Your honey bunny will never know that you made it. And when you tell them, hey, look what I got, you could be like, I made it myself, and best of all, I enjoyed the process. And if you haven't liked, subscribed, and followed, if you've watched to the end of this video, please do that, because we are here to support you in your floral design journey, and I can't wait to inspire you to make your next project. So I'm Keleas, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, Bloomery.